Listener discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the I Should Totally Be Dead Right Now podcast, where we tell true stories of survivors of true crime, natural disasters, and everything else in between. How's it going, Michelle?
GD girl,
That's
you
good.
got through that whole thing.
Thank you.
Really well.
Thank you.
We've been drinking this afternoon.
The thing is, the drink is super light and refreshing, but when you have several of them and you just get chatting and you just get talking and you're just like, oh,
and you're
it's
just
nothing.
sipping.
And then we got to a point where
We
we
decided
started slurring and we're like, oh, we should record this now before it gets too bad. So
Before I'm asleep on your couch.
Yeah, exactly. Woo!
Indeed.
But these drinks are super tasty. Like I said, easy, refreshing, and light. And
So, we can get through the title because we made it up.
yes, it is a grapefruit.
Nope.
It is a sparkling grapefruit cocktail.
Woo! You nailed it, Caitlin.
Thank you.
You nailed it. So, i.e., it is grapefruit soda and vodka at the heart of it.
Oh, and mint.
Yeah, so we added, I had actually some grapefruit fruit cups, I guess. I don't know,
those
from
little
Costco.
snack cups of grapefruit. Yeah.
So we added a little bit of the syrup from that and some of the grapefruit slices from that. And it just sort of brought the whole thing together. And now we have a delicious cocktail that we have drink.
Yeah. How did you make it, though?
Oh, good point. God damn it, Caitlin. You always want to ask the hard-hitting questions.
They want to know.
Okay. So this is how I think I made it.
Okay.
So I put a little bit of the grapefruit syrup, the sugary syrup from the grapefruit cup, which I think you can omit completely.
Yeah,
But
you probably don't need it.
If you put it in, great. It adds a little bit of sweetness, a little tartness.
Will it be on the Instagram post? Probably not.
Okay. All right. So, and then I think we did about a shot, so about an ounce of vodka, and then we just filled a cup with grapefruit soda.
Sparkling,
Sparkling grapefruit soda.
We got from Trader Joe's, of course.
And then we just popped a little mint in there and some of the grapefruit segments from the fruit cup. Yum,
I would
yum,
try
yum.
it muddling the mint. I bet that would be really
I
tasty too.
I do think that would be super yummy. And maybe muddling some of the grapefruit in with the mint. Now we're talking.
Also, we have some things in the making.
In the works,
if you
will.
Definitely before the 100th episode.
Yeah.
So
we have like 12 episodes to get our shit together and be able to get some goddamn swag out.
Yes, we're gonna get swag, guys.
We have all the artwork all done.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Holly, for being incredible and working with me still.
So excited. So excited. So please
be on the lookout.
Yeah.
No, we've got hopefully some t-shirts coming, maybe some mugs, maybe some other things. Who knows? Maybe we'll give some stuff away.
We should have a giveaway for the 100th episode at least.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll give away a couple things.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. So we're really excited. We're finally getting our shit together and getting it done. So thank you so much for...
We might even be on YouTube soon.
Yes.
Who can even say?
We're trying to branch out, guys. We would like to thank the people who've been there in the beginning and continuously can listen to us. So
we appreciate it.
We definitely appreciate it. All right, so this story is about Jamie Grunwald.
Okay. Jamie?
And, yes, it is March 15th of 2021.
Okay, shoot, this is a pretty
It's a recent one. Yeah. And we're in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You know I have love for Wisconsin.
Amy's
out there. I have actually no other reason to love Wisconsin other than Amy. But...
Oh, the cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the cheese. I like the cheese also.
But Amy's number one. So, Jamie works at Rockabilly Saloon, which is a bar.
That sounds fun.
I know, right? So, it is actually closing time. So, the bar was empty and Jamie was alone closing up. Her and her boyfriend, Daniel Mulligan, actually recently broke up. And usually he was there when she closed sometimes. So, she wasn't alone. But since they broke up, unfortunately, she was alone.
She was solo this time.
Yeah. And as she was cleaning up, a young man walks in and Jamie has never ever seen him before.
Okay.
And she tells him that they are closed and he needs to leave. All of a sudden, this guy attacks her. He just leaps at her. He drags her to the men's bathroom and he brings out a knife.
What?
He's slashing her face, trying to cut her throat.
Oh my gosh.
And she actually was stabbed in the thigh as well. So she's fighting him off. So she actually doesn't get cut in the throat. She just gets cuts in the face, stabbed in the thigh, and actually stabbed in the chest that was inches away from puncturing her lung.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, Amy. I'm never coming to Wisconsin.
I know, right? So she doesn't know how, but she actually escapes from the situation. She states, "I didn't freeze up, and I'm really happy for that. I hope to never experience that again, but it saved my life."
So she pretty much just let instinct take over and just freaking
fought
clawed
and
her way out of there.
Absolutely. Yep. So now Jamie runs out of the bar and runs to the bar that's next to them, which is called Rum Runners.
I like the sound of that place. I feel like it's going to save her.
Right? Luckily, the owner, Jeff Hunter, was there. Like, they were closing up as well. Jamie tells him to lock the door because there's a crazy guy out there, and she's covered in blood.
I was going to say, she can't be looking good right now. She's
not.
been slashed up quite a bit. Oh, my God.
So he locks the door, but the attacker now gets in his car and he drives in the front of Rum Runners. Like, he slams into it.
Oh, are you... What is going on with this
Right?
guy?
So Jamie...
So he's not satisfied from slashing her face
Exactly.
up.
She got away.
Escaped. She's gone to another bar, and he's like, fuck that shit. And he puts his car in gear and then runs into the front of it.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Okay.
So once that happened, it shook the whole bar, and Jamie actually ran into the bathroom and locked herself in. She's like, "No, sir."
That's right. No, sir.
So the bar was like a small thing. Like, it was like a strip thing, you know, like downtown usually.
Oh, okay. Little strip mall
Yeah.
type situation.
So it was small. So I'm trying to paint a picture for you. So the door was not right in the front. Like, it was so you had to walk a few feet in, and that's where the door was. So there was like
a little bit of an
barrier.
entryway.
Yeah, an entryway.
Okay.
Exactly. So he did hit the door, but he kind of hit the door in part of
this entryway.
Exactly.
Before he actually hit the bar.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So when he did that, he actually like jammed the door. So he couldn't, so no one could get in and out.
So he effed himself, is
Pretty
what you're
much.
saying.
Pretty much, yeah.
Good.
So now that he can't get in, he gets out of the car and he waves the knife in front of the window.
What?
Kind of like...
Who is this guy?
I know, right? It's so random, but... So since he couldn't get in, he takes off on foot. He just runs.
He's like, well, I effed up my car, so I probably can't drive that anymore. I'm gonna take off down the block?
Well, up ahead was a train, and a few cars were stopped waiting for the train to pass.
Oh, I know how that goes.
So actually the attacker goes up to one of the cars and was able to open it, and he just stabs the driver continuously.
What?
Right?
So he wasn't after Jamie in particular?
Yeah, he was just
like in a rage, and whoever I see first is who's gonna get it.
Exactly.
Oh
yep.
my gosh.
The driver was a 70-year-old man who later died at the hospital.
Oh. So this guy's a total asshole.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Jamie was so sad because they told her that his first grandchild was born 3 weeks ago, and he just retired, and...
Well, of course Jamie's sad about that.
Of course, everyone should be
I'm
sad about
that.
Oh my gosh. So, police now arrive and find 22-year-old Wesley James Bryce near the vehicle, shouting out things like, "I'm the real God."
Oh dear.
Police arrest him, and Wesley is still saying incoherent sentences, then started to repeat his name over and over again. Wesley James Bryce, Wesley James Bryce, Wesley James Bryce.
Really?
Yeah, he just... So
Seems
he's
like
just,
odd behavior.
Exactly. So they take him to the hospital, as well as Jamie, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Once at the hospital, Wesley was more coherent and said he didn't mean to hurt anyone. He wanted officers to kill him, and that he wanted to die.
That doesn't really ring true with me, frankly.
Right? So Jamie was stabbed 3 times with cuts to her face and her head bashed.
Oh gosh.
This whole attack lasted just under 2 minutes before she escaped. So it was very quick, but 2 minutes actually seems like a long time.
Oh, I'm sure, and it probably felt like a long time.
Yeah,
Oh my
absolutely. So Wesley now faces 9 charges, including first-degree intentional homicide with the driver.
Oh, good.
Yeah. There were some competency issues related to Wesley's ability to understand the court proceedings and able to assist in his own defense.
That, I guess, probably doesn't surprise me that much.
Right,
I
exactly.
mean, clearly something is not correct with him.
Right. But in July, doctors, the newest reports found him competent to stand trial.
They're like, haha, just kidding, you're fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
I probably shouldn't laugh about that. I apologize.
He needs to take accountability of his actions. Absolutely. So there have been plea negotiations, and so it could be settled or there could be a trial. So, I mean, there's usually plea offers. Right now it's unknown. There's Wesley is now 23. He pled not guilty and not guilty for reasons of mental disease or defects. But the next hearing is going to be held on February 14th of this year.
Oh,
So,
wow. On Valentine's Day.
I know, pretty
My
much.
gosh.
So I'll actually I want to follow this case, so I'm going to keep updating
I
about
wish you
this
would.
case. Yes, absolutely. Because usually, honestly, a lot of cases, since I volunteer as a victim advocate.
Indeed.
A lot
For more than 5 years,
Yeah,
I would.
that's true.
I would think.
That's 7 years this year.
Well, because you just got your 5-year anniversary. Was that 2 years ago?
It was, yeah, because of COVID. They didn't held a.
Oh, okay. So it
Yeah.
was a little late. I'm not just an insane person, and it
No,
seems like
before-
you've been a victim advocate for 300 years.
No. Before COVID, it was 5 years. And then since COVID, they didn't have one last year for 2021. So 2022. Actually, it could be 8 years because 2020 is when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And
2019 is when the
my
pandemic
gosh.
hit.
So it could be 8 years now. Who knows, you know?
Who can even say?
But usually, honestly, in my experience, is that usually plea offers, that's what defendants
usually go with.
Exactly, because victims also get a say of what they would like to see done. Like, they get a voice in it. But usually, defendants take a plea offer, so there's no trial. But, so we don't know yet if it's going to be a trial or if they're going to take the plea offer.
Gosh.
But, so we'll see we'll see February 14th. I'll keep updating. Absolutely.
Because
So
that'll
keep
be our Valentine's Day episode.
I know, right?
Update.
Keep listening, guys. But Jamie continues to work through her trauma, of course. But this is not where the story ends.
Oh. Caitlin.
I know, right? So now it's May 1st, 2021. So this happened March 15th. So it's like 2 months.
2 months later.
2 months later. Jamie gets a call from her friends and her mom saying that there's been an open shooting going on at Daniel's work, which was her ex-boyfriend.
Oh, I forgot about the ex-boyfriend. Okay.
So Daniel works at Duck Creek Kitchen and Bar, and he works in the kitchen cooking.
I'm like, well, that sounds delicious.
I know, right? So he works with his best friends, Ian Simpson, and a close friend, Jacob Bartel.
Okay.
So they're working as usual, but former employee, 62-year-old Bruce Profall, comes in with a firearm with an intent to kill.
Oh.
Bruce was fired earlier that year and even had a restraining order filed against him.
Okay, guys. I know I've said it before. I'm going to say it again real quick.
Yeah.
If you get fired,
Yeah.
go ahead and maybe, indulge yourself and go on a bender for like one night.
Yeah.
Get a little bit drunk. I'm so angry. And
get
then
a
the
little
next
high.
day over, get a little bit high.
Take a nap.
The next day, maybe rage, play some video games for the whole day, whatever.
Yeah.
And then maybe the next day, we start getting over it and
Yeah.
start looking for other employment opportunities.
Seriously.
Not thinking about revenge and shooting up our ex-employees.
Couldn't say it better myself, Michelle.
Our ex-co-employees,
Yeah.
probably should say. But
the restraining order did not stop him. So,
that's surprising.
as he walks in with a handgun, customers are yelling, screaming, flipping over tables, jumping over each other, trying to get out.
Trying to just get cover of any kind,
absolutely.
probably.
So he actually moves towards the kitchen. And that's where all three of them are at. The first shots were point blank at Ian and Jacob, his best friends.
Are you serious?
They both unfortunately did not make it.
What? See, I thought the ex-boyfriend was going to be the bad guy in this,
Nope.
Caitlin.
Nope.
You have
I'm sorry.
done me dirty. I don't know how that... I don't feel good about that at all.
Daniel saw the whole thing happen in front of his eyes, and he saw his friends lose their lives.
I can't even fucking imagine.
Could you not? I mean, you're just staying there and your best friend they're dead.
Yeah.
Right in front of your eyes. Just trying to... Oh
I can't even hardly
Nope.
imagine it because that would be you, Caitlin. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. How...
I would be devastated.
I don't even know how...
I would grab your
think.
bat and bash their face in. That's what I would do.
Well, that's what... Daniel saw the whole thing, and then Bruce left. Like, he left the kitchen area.
He's like, well, I've done my dirty work.
But Daniel was so pissed off and angry, and his primal instinct came in. So he states, the soldier in me just activated. I just watched him commit the most atrocities that
any human could commit, possibly.
That he did in the restaurant. I was so mad watching him just take my best friend's life in front of me like that I really didn't care. I just wanted to take him down, so I went searching for him.
Oh. So
he was livid.
Upset.
Absolutely. So without hesitation, he goes looking for the gunman without any weapon, just himself.
I feel like this would be Joel's reaction.
Right?
Are you kidding me? We had someone like just walk out of our driveway that we didn't know, and he like jumped in the car and ran guy down. Yes.
No, when I have to tell these listeners, I dropped off alcohol for you, and he didn't know that I was coming. I texted Michelle, but she didn't tell him. I don't know.
I think I didn't have my phone near me or something.
So I left the alcohol in there, like there's
in our entryway.
And then I was walking to my car, and I was pulling out, and he's out there just staring at me. I'm like, it's me, it's Caitlin. Oh my god, he looks so terrifying. I'm like, I'm just dropping off stuff.
I promise.
I know, I texted Michelle, go ask her. He was terrifying. Oh my god. He was out there in like 2 seconds. Oh my gosh. But
we run a little bit paranoid over
fair
it.
enough. I mean, fair enough. My gosh.
Sorry.
It's just Caitlin and Nick. It's fine.
I promise we're not here to do bad.
I know. So
Thank you for all that booze, by the way.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
The reason he went after him was because Daniel and his best friend always promised to have each other's backs, and he knew that exactly what his friend would do. Like the same thing.
Of course.
But Daniel couldn't find the gunman anywhere.
Bruce
like,
was not to be found?
No.
Fuck that guy.
So he decided to join the others who escaped in the parking lot, with police. So he is exiting, trying, just being with the other people. But as he walked outside, there he was in the parking lot.
Probably trying to check it all out.
I think he was trying to leave.
Oh,
getting back to his car. But Daniel charged him. And when the gunman turned around, he shot him point blank in the face.
What?
Yes. The shot entered...
If you tell me that motherfucker is dead, I'm going to be pissed at you.
The shot entered just below his right eye. The shot, though, alerted police to where the gunman was.
Oh, well, yeah. Everyone's like, where's that shot come from? Oh.
As Daniel hits the ground with his gunshot, he hears other gunshots. Daniel thought it was a shooter, but it was police just unleashing into this guy.
He hit the ground and they...
Yep, they saw who had the gun and who shot who.
They took care of it.
Absolutely. The SWAT team came.
Yeah.
So a member of the SWAT team gets Daniel, telling him it's going to be okay. Daniel asks if that was the gunman shooting, and the SWAT man says, no, we got him. We got the SOB.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yay.
Actually, so now Bruce is dead.
Okay.
They just unloaded into him. Daniel was rushed to the hospital, but he was still conscious, and his parents played a big role in his survival.
Oh.
He states, I just remember telling myself, my mom already lost my sister. My mom already lost a kid. She can't bury another one.
Oh,
and so
are you serious?
Yeah. And so I need to fight, for my mom, for my dad, for Jamie.
Yes,
I thought about her. Oh my God.
I know. God damn it.
So he woke up with an eye patch on, which was a moisture chamber. Daniel cannot close the right side of his face, so he can't close his eye all the way. So it's kind of...
he's paralyzed a little bit on that side of his face.
He also had to have his jaw wired shut for 2 months.
Oh my gosh.
Doctors told him that he might never walk again, have sensory issues, brain damage, and may never play the guitar again, which was what he loved to do.
Well, this is devastating.
I know, right?
I thought he was going to be the bad guy in all this, and now I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I want to hug you.
But within 72 hours being at the hospital, he was recovering faster than most could have hoped for. Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Right? Daniel was a fighter, and he never gave up. He told his legs that they better walk again.
You're goddamn right! Ah!
His caseworker also brought him a guitar, and instantly he knew everything was going to be okay, because he still had the motor skills to play.
Oh my god.
I know, right?
Oh.
Daniel did start to walk again, but still waiting for the nerves in his face to come back.
Oh gosh.
He states, "It's just my face. It's the least of my concerns. You know, as long as you can play guitar.
All is well."
Exactly.
Dang.
So this incident actually brought Daniel and Jamie back together. So they got together. I know.
Like, are you serious, Caitlin?
I know, right?
Romance.
I know. She states, "We can relate on a lot of things and just like sit there and cry or be like mad and understand each other for it." So they are happy now that they are together and helping each other through their difficult time.
Oh, Caitlin, you should have saved this for February 14th.
I know, Valentine's Day. No, isn't that crazy? It sucks. Like, they both went through a like near-death experience, but that's what brought them together. And now they understand each other more on a deeper level, and now they're together.
Like, I feel like I'm crying a little bit.
I know.
It's fine.
How insane. Within 2 months, they both experienced a near-death experience. I mean...
So, what the fuck was up with that dude going for... It was just a dude? Like, going for Jamie?
I think it was just, she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I think he was just going through something mentally.
Yeah, it's like whoever was in front of him. That's
exactly. And since he couldn't get to them inside the other place, he just took off to find someone else.
So kind of a crime of opportunity.
Kind of, yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's
so
crazy.
I think, I don't know, a whole thing with the whole mental health thing, because he definitely was going through something, but you can't excuse that for, murder.
Yeah, well, agreed, of course.
Absolutely. So,
I sometimes wonder, though, like, if I went crazy, like, but what if I didn't go crazy? Like, let's say I had a new alien friend who didn't show themselves to anybody else except for me, but God damn it, they're real. Would everyone think I was crazy?
Yeah,
probably,
absolutely.
And be like, that bitch needs to be locked up.
I would be concerned, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, because it's like imaginary friend, It's like you should.
This is Margaret. You haven't met her yet, but she's
like,
my alien friend.
I would feel like something.
I feel like she'd have a
trauma happened to you that made you reverse into like an imaginary friend.
Oh dear.
I know.
Did you ever have an imaginary friend?
I never did. No.
Me neither.
I never had that.
I apparently never had anyone dead or anyone hanging out with me.
Yeah, I don't think I did see a ghost when I was 12, but it wasn't...
It wasn't your imaginary friend coming
it was someone
hang out with you.
Scary old lady. Sorry,
Sorry,
it was. Oh, I was terrified. No, but... Yeah, I never had that experience. I think I tried having one because I heard, like, I saw in a show, like,
you're like, that looks pretty fun.
I'm like, I want an imaginary friend, and I'm like, hey... Brooke, and didn't last long,
Delightful.
Yeah. But before you jump to your story, just say good job, Jamie and Daniel.
Indeed.
And I'm sorry he lost his friends.
I know, that fucking blows.
But at least they're together and they can help each other through their trauma. So
I just try to think, like, if I fucking lost you, oh my God, I would I'd bash a lot of faces in with bats after that. Like,
Just
I
buy a
just
bat.
feel like there would be this other side of me that came out that has always been there, but sort of repressed. And it would be
something
like,
traumatic happens.
yeah, it's time to let that out. And I'm going
Yeah.
to, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I would not take that sitting down. That's for fucking sure. My God, me and your dad would go out hunting.
So did my sister too.
Yeah,
All
she'd be
three
there
of you.
with us, yes. May that never
Yeah.
happen.
May that it will never happen. No, I'll be good.
Yes. All
With
right.
all these survivor stories, dear God, I'm like prepped, man.
I'm gonna survive.
Yeah, seriously.
All right.
Okay, Michelle, it is now your turn to tell your story. Good luck.
Oh, good effing luck. Thank
Yeah,
you. Okay.
You're welcome.
So, this is in Spain.
Okay.
So, can we just, like, premise that with this is in Spain? And there's
We
a lot of Spanish.
know that you apologize about every name that you've ever said, so we understand, Michelle. We're here for you.
Okay, I just want to especially apologize.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's good.
I'm gonna try it.
As long as you try your best, that's what we ask for.
Thank you, Caitlin.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, I'm taking us back to Saturday, April 15th,
Okay.
2017.
Oh, okay.
So,
Not too
just a
far.
few years ago.
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
Here we go. Xisco, Gràcia's, Lladóun.
You're so white, Michelle. You're so white.
Fuck yourself, Caitlin.
No, okay. That sounded good. That sounded good. It did.
Yeah. So, Xisco and his longtime friend, Guillem,
Guillem? Okay.
Guillem Mascaró,
Okay.
I apologize, decided to do some cave diving
Oh.
in the mouth of Cova de sa Paquita.
Great.
Fucking nailed it. And you're like, girl, you did not, in fact,
It
nail it.
sounded good, actually. So I don't know. So yeah, okay.
All right, so these two friends,
Uh-huh.
Xisco and Guillem, are gonna go cave diving together.
I'm impressed, honestly.
And between the two of them, they actually have a ton of experience.
Oh, okay.
Xisco has been cave diving, in particular, has been cave diving for more than 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
Already.
Okay. Yeah.
And he is a divorced father of 2.
Okay.
And one of his favorite hobbies is mapping the island's many tunnels and chambers.
Yeah.
That's in Majorca's caves. So, yeah. Nailed it. All right. So, Guillem, who is a willowy 54-year-old local,
Oh, okay.
he's been ocean diving for decades and has started exploring caves in 2003.
Interesting.
So, really, the two of these guys have been cave diving for a long time.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point, I guess. Guillem was super excited to be diving with Xisco. I apologize.
Yeah.
Because Xisco was one of the most experienced divers in all of Spain.
Okay.
So that morning, they kind of got together. They got the map out.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided that they're going to try to get to this area that's about 900 meters in from the cave entrance. So what is
Okay.
that? That's like...
I know
18...
inches and feet and yards.
I know. I'm
don't
trying
know
to think
the
of
metrics.
like meters. So probably 2,700 meters. So we're actually probably talking about almost a mile in.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, so they've got a little while. So what they were trying to do is to find these underwater chambers. They've never been studied before, these particular chambers in this cave.
Really?
So they're going to
Okay.
go scout them out, try to map them, plot them on their map and that type of thing, and then come back out. So they would be seeing these underground rooms for the first time. So that
Okay.
was very exciting. So they entered the cave and damp air sort of greeted them as soon as they came in, and then they sort of walked out. Xisco attached 4 bottles of air to his belt, and then he passed 3 bottles of air to Guillem.
Okay.
And so, satisfied that they had plenty of air,
Yeah.
they descended into the cave.
I see. So they
Okay.
were prepped and ready to go.
Yeah, they knew what
Okay.
they were doing. They knew
Right.
they had plenty of air. They were set to go.
Okay.
And in fact, they had enough air to get in. They had to explore and then to get back out with an extra hour to
Oh.
spare. So they were really like prepared for
Yeah.
this trip. So Xisco put his the regulator in his mouth and lowered his head under the water, and Guillem followed.
Okay.
So they're ready to go. So these two dive partners, they took a very simple way to get into the cave. I guess throughout these caves, there's these sort of nylon ropes that are attached through all the different caves.
They're already there?
Yeah, they're already there.
Okay.
So these have been pretty explored caves.
Oh,
so
okay.
they're going off to this area that's pretty deep in there to find some unknown rooms. Whereas opposed to all these other rooms are mapped, well known. There's signs that say how to get to one area to another area.
Okay.
So they were really not super worried about being able to traverse all these different caverns.
Okay.
Because there's ropes and signs everywhere. So they get down there and they just start sort of pulling along a rope.
Okay.
So they're not really swimming too much or,
Right.
They're just sort of pulling themselves along.
Okay.
But unfortunately, as it is with any diver who goes down into water, you're going to start kicking up silt. So they're kicking up dirt behind them
I see.
as they go. Even though the water is super clear in front of them, it's all muddy behind them is kind of my point.
They're disturbing the whatever.
The silt behind them.
Ah, okay.
So if a tunnel forked, they were able to see on the placards that were underwater which way to go, and there was nylon lines that they could sort of follow along to get to any area.
Sounds like a claustrophobic nightmare.
Yeah, I probably agreed. So, yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So they were snaking down this path and it split many times, and so it really just created this maze of potential wrong turns and being able to potentially go in the wrong direction at any time. And all these lines are really indistinguishable from each other, except for these signs that's kind of said you're going this way or you're going this way.
They had signs. Okay.
So they did have signs.
Okay.
So they had signs and arrows and markers that kind of at every intersection that told them which way to go. And it also pointed to which way to get out. So really, these were pretty explored caves already. Again, they're just going to this one area that they thought was unexplored. And it was going to take them like a full hour to get there. So they're moving forward pretty easily. Again, leaving a cloudy trail of sediment behind them.
Okay.
Of all this water that's been disturbed. So after an hour of navigating through these tunnels, they swam into this underground room that they were looking for this whole time.
Oh, okay. They found it.
Yeah, they found it. Yay!
Woo.
So now they're in this area that it hasn't been marked or anything. And so they're sort of collecting samples from the room to see what's in there and doing what they can to mark it. Guillem was measuring the shape and diameter of a nearby chamber.
Okay.
So Sappho was in one room. Oh my God! Sappho was in one room collecting rocks, and Guillem was in the next room measuring.
All right.
Oh
Different
my God!
rooms, taking stuff. Okay.
Thank you, Caitlin.
I mean,
oh
I didn't
girl.
help.
So after about an hour of going around, Xisco glanced at his air pressure gauges and saw that his tanks were a third empty.
Okay.
So
is that
pretty
bad?
much they have 2 more hours, 2.5 more hours on top.
Oh, that's a long time though.
So, but at this point, it's time to get back. So, because it's a full hour back.
Oh,
and
I see.
And so, they want to have that hour to spare. Like, that last hour of air is just for emergencies only.
Oh,
they're
I
hoping
see.
not to use it.
Okay,
So,
okay, that makes sense.
He grabbed Guillem by the shoulder and was like, pointing at his gauge and was like, hey guys, it's time to get out. So they started back the way they had come.
Great.
Following the guideline. But now they're sort of swimming through muddy sediment. Because as I said, they've been sort of kicking up mud this whole time. And so the first passage they went through, all was well. And then they started sort of going through this tunnel that was a little more closed in than perhaps they remembered.
Okay.
And so it's like the air bottles and the air tanks and things are scraping on the side of the cave.
Oh my gosh.
And there's like, it's dragging and catching, and now like every time they sort of scrape a bottle against or scrape a tank against the cave wall, it's kicking up even more sediment, which creates it to be even more muddy. And so it's just becoming a thick, chocolatey soup around them.
Ew, okay.
And they're just really having a hard time seeing.
Yeah.
But fortunately, they have that nylon rope in their hand, and they're able to just sort of keep pulling themselves out. So there's like, it's not that big of a deal. We still have this rope. It doesn't matter if we don't see. Do you know what I mean? But they just keep on going, and then all of a sudden, that line ended. And they were like, what the hell happened? So they he pushed ahead, Xisco, looking for that other line, and he couldn't find it. He was like, what the heck happened? So now they're in this sort of cave area where they're not sure where the next line is or where they should be headed next. So he indicated to Guillem that he should sort of keep going ahead.
Okay.
200 meters away, he thought that there was a cave that actually they could come up and be able to breathe the air. There was sort of an open cave, but he was concerned that maybe this cave had a lot of carbon dioxide in it because it didn't, have a natural way to get oxygen from the outside.
I see.
So they decided to try to make their way to this cave that they knew had some oxygen in it.
I see.
But at the same time, they're also sort of looking for the guideline still. So what had happened is the rock that had held the guideline in place, had been like, I don't know, a piton or something. I don't know what goes in. Like the piece of metal went in and the nylon rope was pulled through. That piece of rock had chunked off. And was no longer, it was like on the ground or something like that. So the normal guideline wasn't there. It was on the ground somewhere, sort of free floating.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they're like, we've got no way out. So poor Xisco is like just looking, feeling around into the abyss. There's not a lot of, there's probably no light down there except for the lights on their
helmets or
helmets, and so he's just looking for this guideline.
Oh my god!
In the middle, and so finally he pulled his gloves off and started feeling around again for the guideline. Unfortunately, just visibility just kept getting worse and worse and worse because they're sitting in this area trying to find this guideline, kicking up sediment, touching the rocks, kicking up more dirt, and so now it's just muddy, and they can't see anything. They finally, Xisco looked down at his regulator and kind of freaked out a little bit because he did not realize how long they had been sitting there looking for this guideline.
Right.
And so they had spent, now instead of 2 hours of air each, they only have an hour of air each.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And so he's like, we got to find our way out or we're going to run out of air.
Right.
So Xisco swam to that cave that he knew of where he had told Guillem to actually go to before he started searching around for that guideline.
Okay.
So he brought his head out of the water of this big cavernous room and he could see Guillem waiting for him on the shore. He came up from the water and he took his sort of air apparatus off and took a breath of sort of the free air, if you will, and immediately realized that there was a ton of carbon dioxide in it.
No!
And it was high. I guess it was probably at 2 or 3% carbon dioxide as opposed to right now what you and I are breathing is 0.03%.
What was it? Sorry, say again.
2 to 3%.
Oh my gosh!
As opposed to 0.03%.
Oh my gosh!
So it's significantly higher carbon dioxide, and so he knew that such high concentrations of carbon dioxide could have a lot of upsetting consequences.
Absolutely.
Elevated heart rate, rapid breathing, headaches, hallucinating, paralysis, unconsciousness, and death.
Holy cow!
That's what comes from breathing too much carbon dioxide. Xisco is like, there's another way to get to the surface. He's got his map out that's laminated and waterproof and everything.
Oh, okay.
And he thinks that the guideline should be intact on this route.
Oh.
So they pretty much take a look at what they've got and they look at the air tanks and they're like, there's only enough air for one of us to get out. And because Guillem is so much more weighs less and is much more slim, he's probably going to get out easier.
The best chance.
He's got the best chance to get out. He probably is going to consume less oxygen and get out to the surface quicker. You're smaller and quicker, he said. You'll use less air on the way out.
Okay.
So they decided Guillem was going to be the one to try to make it out. Xisco had actually spent quite a few days exploring underground chambers in the past, even with the carbon dioxide saturated air. So he kind of figured that he was probably going to be okay.
Okay.
So he knew that he had to slow his breath to reduce the amount of toxic gases that he was inhaling and just really rest and sort of take it easy. So that's his plan. Mm-hmm. And sends Guillem off with all the rest of the air to go try to find help.
Wow.
So Guillem suited up with the remaining tanks, and Xisco watched him sort of go under and head out.
Oh.
And he was thinking at the time that he hopes he sees him again, but then he could sort of feel his pulse quicken because of the carbon dioxide poisoning that was already happening.
No!
So at this point, now it's 6 p.m. on Saturday evening.
Wow.
So it took Guillem about an hour to go out.
That's all he had left, though, right?
That's about all he had left. But he was actually able to get out of the caves and come up at the entrance of the caves.
So he's good.
So he's like, ah! So he pretty much dialed help immediately.
Absolutely.
Like, we got to get people out. So it's, oh, God. Group Nord, Majorca's official caving organization.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So, within Group Nord got into action. God. So within an hour, there was several of the island's top cave divers assembled and ready to go in to try to save.
Oh, great.
Xisco. So one of them, Bernard Clammer, he had about as much diving experience as Xisco had, which is like over 20 years. So he's a pretty veteran diver. Yeah. And so he's like, he knows that there's probably a lot of carbon dioxide in that cave and that Xisco is probably suffering from carbon dioxide poisoning. So he's pretty familiar about, this cave system and how to get in and out. But he's like, we don't know how long Xisco has.
Right.
So we got to get in there. The group agreed that 2 divers familiar with this cave system was going to go in.
Okay.
Guillem was able to mark where he was on the map with that laminated map that they had and handed it off to the men before they sunk under and went out to go try to mount a rescue. So 2 hours later, they returned with bad news.
What?
So in the rush to reach the surface, Guillem pulled up all kinds of sediment. So he was probably kicking hard and it was mud the whole way. So these 2 new divers went down and it was too muddy.
No!
They couldn't see anything. So they were like, we are going to have to wait for the water to clear before we can try to go back down again.
Oh my gosh.
Because they just couldn't see anything. They were thinking it could take hours or even days? For this sediment.
He doesn't have days?
No, yeah. Xisco might choke to death breathing carbon dioxide, but they knew that diving in water that was like chocolate was pointless.
I guess that's true. Okay,
they weren't going to be able to make it where they needed to make it.
Ugh.
So they really didn't want to put anyone else at risk. Like, don't try to save this guy by killing this guy. You know, it's kind of
fair enough.
I guess. Whatever. So at this point, there's nothing to do but wait. So Xisco sat in this cold, dark cave, and minutes, of course, felt like hours.
Absolutely.
I can't even imagine. He was dizzy due to the effects of the carbon dioxide.
Right.
His diving watch had stopped, so he didn't know what time it was.
Oh my God.
And he had no idea that he had only been in the cave for like 4 to 5 hours at that point.
You just have to put your trust in other people, which is
terrible. Scary.
It's hard.
So he turned on his headlight and Xisco made his way down from the lake to the ledge and sort of drank from the lake. So apparently this is a saltwater cavern.
Oh, okay.
But the top layer of this particular water was clean and fresh water. So for some reason, the top layer of this water is not salt water. So he was able to actually have a little bit of water. But unfortunately, air was more of a problem. So he made his way back to his resting point. He sort of groaned at, the sharp pains going through his temples because now he's beginning to get super bad headaches from not having enough oxygen. Just every breath, he was just bringing in more carbon dioxide. So he laid down, tried to stay calm. He vowed he would only move to drink and urinate. He turned out his headlight to preserve his battery and just laid in the cold, humid darkness.
Oh my gosh.
I know. He kind of wondered if his ex-wife had been notified yet, if his kids knew that he was in peril, all this. And so that's like all he had to think about. They'll find me soon, I hope, was really what he was. He was just had all of his hopes on Guillem trying to make it out alive. Unfortunately, he did have a creeping dread that Guillem had probably died on his way out, and probably there was no one coming.
Oh my gosh!
So those are the feelings that are on his heart at this moment. So above ground, there was a team of medics, there was a psychologist on hand, there was divers and cavers from across the island all coming, all debating on the best course of action. And, they had made one attempt and they couldn't get further than 300 meters in. So they're like, the water's like mud. What are we going to do? And so unfortunately, the call came out that you need to wait till the next morning. The sediment needs to settle.
Okay.
And you're not to go out again until the following morning. So it said, we wait until morning before we dive again. And of course, they were reached with a chorus of groans because they all want to get down there, and they know how much danger Xisco is in, and that he might be sucking down his last gulp of toxic air as they speak. And so now it's 9:30 on Sunday night, and Xisco has been underground for more than 30 hours at this point. And they were like, we gotta wait, but by tomorrow, it may be too late. All right, so now we are on noon on Monday.
Oh my gosh.
And the call has come out that they can swim down to the tunnel.
Okay.
And so they feel like the water was clear enough. It's not crystal clear, but it's clear enough that they can actually make their way through and actually see enough to see the markers on which way they need to turn when there comes to a fork. What they did is they sort of planned their way to get there on skipping everything that they didn't need to be going through. So they found the most direct route to Xisco, and the diver took that route. So he was trying to make his way in as quickly as they can. So they went in, and they were almost there, and essentially it sounded like they had to almost bring another diver in. Like they'd get a diver to kind of show the way, and then they'd bring another diver behind him who had more air, who was able to go a little bit further than the original diver was able to go to. So essentially they're trying to get their way through this underground maze to get to where Xisco is.
Right.
And so Xisco at this point is now debating on whether he will ever be saved.
Such a long time.
It's been over 40 hours, I think, at this point.
Oh my gosh. In the water, trying to breathe through carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So Xisco is laying there, and he sees this sort of light flickering, and he's like, great, I'm hallucinating. That's all I effing need right now is hallucinating. The carbon dioxide has saturated my blood, and no one is coming to save me. And, of course, his thoughts went to his sister, to his mother, to his sister-in-law, who's dying of cancer.
Oh, my gosh.
To the knife in his pocket that if he needed to, he could kill himself if it came to that. And, if
just
the
for
gas...
that to be an option is super sad.
I know. If the gas doesn't kill me, I can always take care of it myself.
Oh, my gosh.
So Xisco is feeling that this will be his tomb. And
yeah,
so he's feeling pretty... So, but then he saw sort of a light coming up, and he just figured he was hallucinating. But then he heard the sound of bubbles, and he was just like, what is going on? And what it sounded like to him was a diver surfacing. And then he saw more of the light, and it was going up along all the cave walls and everything. And then he heard a familiar voice saying, Xisco, Xisco.
Aww.
And he realized that he had seen his old friend, Bernard, who he had known forever, and they had dove together, was dripping wet and driving and coming right towards him. And so he was able to get up, and the two men, embrace, and he's like, Guillem is dead, isn't he? And he was like, no, he's alive and waiting for you.
Right.
Are you kidding? He's like, come to the surface. So they gave Xisco some glucose gel to give him some energy. And then they gave him it was like a very potent oxygen mix in one of the tanks that they had brought with them. It was like over twice the amount of oxygen that you normally get. So Xisco was able to breathe that in, and immediately his head started to clear, and he started to feel better because now he's actually getting oxygen and not just carbon dioxide. He felt his body come back to life, and he was able to take a deep breath for the first time in 58 hours.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Oh
That's such a long time to be down there.
Yeah, just by yourself in the dark. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely not.
Waiting
Absolutely
for
not.
who knows what to come out of that water. And
Exactly.
Yeah, forget it. After 60 hours, Xisco was able to walk unaided from the mouth of the cave.
Wow.
They were able to bring him out. The cheers of the crowd overjoyed him. And of course, Guillem was there waiting among everyone for him to, come out. And he got a big grin, and then they hugged, and he's alive.
Aww.
It's a tradition in this area, as it turns out, for the first explorer of a new cave to name it.
Oh.
So today, the chamber where Xisco and Guillem had sought refuge, essentially the carbon dioxide cave, is now known as the Room of Three Miracles. That's the name that Xisco gave it. The first miracle was that Xisco found a chamber with air.
Yep.
The second was that he survived breathing the air with so much carbon dioxide in it. And the third, that he was able to escape the terrifying ordeal with his life.
Oh my gosh!
Ugh.
That's terrible. Like,
Am I ever gonna go cave diving?
No.
No, never.
I was thinking of a movie. What's it called? Like Descendants or something like that?
There was that didn't have cave scuba diving, but that was a lot of
the cave.
What is the word for it?
Spelunking.
Spelunking. Yes. That was cave spelunking.
Yeah.
Spelunking. I can't say it.
I don't think I'm claustrophobic, but I think with that situation,
Maybe
I definitely
perhaps
would find
you
a
are.
fear. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't, but he was underwater though. I mean, like he had stuff to breathe.
Yeah,
but
so he was up out into the cave.
I see.
But the cave just didn't have very much oxygen in it because it was so far underwater.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't even, no.
Be like, pass, guys.
Hard pass. I don't know.
I'm probably not going to do a lot of cave diving in my future.
No.
I can't really see that happening.
I can't either myself.
Really, I can't see any scuba diving in my future.
No.
Let alone in a cave.
No. You're right. Yeah.
I've just seen too many movies where it's like they try to turn around.
They can't.
It's too late.
Oh my gosh.
It's too late. You gotta find that bigger cavern and hope to turn around there.
But, they got to name the place, though. I mean, that's kind of cool, but still.
It was named after this terribly harrowing experience that I had.
You almost died. You could have died very easily. Ugh, okay. Well, good. I mean...
But they're out.
They're out. They're safe.
I'm sorry, Guillem, that I tried to call you Guillermo the entire time.
Right? It's just crazy that they found a new cave down there.
That's
interesting.
Cool.
But I don't know if it's worth it.
It's not. I'll tell you that right now.
Holy cow.
Oh,
well,
gosh.
Good. That's why I like this podcast, because everyone survives. You
you kind of know the ending a little bit.
Yeah.
Unless Caitlin's telling the story, and then people are
That's
dying
true.
left and right. Also,
that's fair. That is fair. I'm sorry.
I shouldn't laugh at that because it's horrifying.
All right, you guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and please follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and please try these delicious drinks.
Yeah, because they will get you schnockered,
right?
as it turns out.
My goodness.
Well, they're so refreshing and easy to drink.
Right? And keep following us for updates about our new swag that's going to be coming out.
Woo-woo!
And we'll see you next time, okay?
Yeah!
Goodbye.
Ugh, goodbye.